Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are back tonight to go. I guess you could say that tonight we will be going on a little bit of a tangent because yesterday, seeing James Gilliland of ESETI Ranch marking his broadcasts as, quote, for entertainment purposes only, unquote, I decided I was too harsh on him because at least James Gilliland is admitting that none of the things that he talks about, including the things he talked about with Corey Goode, are actually true. It's just entertainment. And we have seen various examples of people calling the UFO community, actually the UFO business. One notable and famous example I'm aware of is Third Phase of Moon. This business of UFOs, that's what they call it for quite some time. This business of UFOs. So it's important to remember that for some of us, this is an interest. For some of us, this is a form of entertainment. But for others, especially the top tier UFO celebrities, this is a business, a very, very lucrative business, as we have heard from various sources, like Corey Goode, while under oath, saying two things that I thought were very notable or worthy of mention. The first is that he made $750,000 gross. Now, granted, that's gross from one course that he sold for $333 a ticket. So $750,000 gross. And I wondered, like, well, then what was the profit from that? You know, I know people who I know live streaming. It doesn't cost that much, $20 or $50 a month for the streaming software. You need a webcam, that's $100. A decent microphone, that's $100. So even if you didn't have these things before you started the course, sure, you got to write a course and then you got to sit there and deliver the course, read a script, write a script. But if he grossed $750,000, it would be fair. It would be more than fair to assume that he netted $700,000 or made $700,000 in profit. And that's just going crazy. Like, okay, he spent $50,000 producing it. I don't believe that he did. I've seen clips from that, and it looks very, very amateur hour to me. I mean, it looks like nothing better than I can produce right here in my office studio, streaming setup. Maybe I'd have to move some things, put an extra chair here for the dummy that's interviewing me, or vice versa. But otherwise, it was not a big production. It was barely YouTuber quality. So, and he made, we can assume that he made somewhere around $700,000 from that one thing that he was selling. Then you have to add, if we want to get into talking about his money situation, then we add how much money is he getting paid for conference appearances? Well, not so much anymore because he's not welcome at most of them, or that's what people are saying. But at the time that he could get $10,000 for 1 2-hour talk at something like Conscious Life Expo or any of those bigger conferences. Then he's selling comic books, right? He is monetized on YouTube, getting at one point lots and lots of monetized views. Other avenues of income could be guest appearances, right? Documentaries that he made. And those, by the way, those documentaries have made millions of dollars. This is just one person in the UFO community or UFO business. It's the amount of money to be made is absolutely mind-boggling and incredible. Corey Goode described it as a $5 billion a year industry. Now, I'm not sure that I agree with that as an assessment. Is there really $5 billion here? I would say if you include all paranormal, yeah, probably, but that would include, everybody running around selling ancient mysteries, ghost hunting shows, Bigfoot, Bermuda Triangle, ghost hunting, demons, demonology, shadow people, UFOs, aliens. If you put it all together, probably a $5 billion industry. And we're going to talk tonight just about the major players, the people making the most money out of this so-called UFO business. We're going to concentrate on the major players, but you have to understand that there are people, and by the way, I'm not painting with such a broad brush tonight. I'm aware of several authors that I think are very good writers, good researchers, and are worthy of $25 for a book. And I don't begrudge anyone from making a living at this or whatever their chosen passion or pursuit is. But we have to always remember that there are people that are taking advantage of the vast amounts of money out there from the interest in these things. So we're going to get into it. We're going to begin tonight's presentation. But before we do, thank you, John Lies, for kind and generous $12 Canadian. Said, I had to head out. We'll catch later. Here's a praise to cash beginning. Everyone needs to donate something. This show is just too fun. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. And we appreciate your helping us to praise the cash, John Lies.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you very much. And by the way, Spooky and I just had this discussion. I don't know which way we're supposed to go with this, because I had a very, somebody I trust tell me that you can't just talk for an hour or do a show for an hour or two and then read the super chats at the end. You have to read them as they come in. That's what people want, and you should do what the audience wants. So we're starting to do that. But we may revisit that. Maybe we're going to be doing reading them at halftime and at the end of the show or something like that. Because quite honestly, sometimes when there's lots coming in, I feel like and by the way, I don't want to discourage lots of super chats coming in, but when there's many coming in and I'm trying to get through a presentation, I feel like a ping pong ball. We're like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And some people who of course, somebody actually sent me an email saying, I never send you super chats, and super chats, you reading those super chats are annoying and it gets in the way of your shows or something like that. So everybody has their various feelings about it. By the way, that person said, I'll never donate, and I don't donate because I don't like the super chats. It gets in the way of the show or something like that. But we're gonna figure it out. So we're gonna begin tonight's presentation talking about who I believe is the most successful UFO con artist grifter. And by the way, I'm calling him that. And one thing that is interesting is that as much money as this person has, of course, I'm not inviting it, but he does not care if people call him a con artist, a scammer, a grifter. I think it's incredible. And by the way, when we get into the top tier UFO celebrities, you gotta take a moment to realize the tremendous, absolutely colossal ego on some of these guys. Somebody just sent me this, and since we're starting with Stephen Greer, I just want to show you this. This is from a recent appearance on Camelot Castle TV, which is basically the English Q headquarters. Basically, it's a Q-tard, and he's interviewing Stephen Greer, and this is titled "The Greatest Living Extraterrestrial and UFO Expert on Planet Earth Today," Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, some people may say, well, that's the interviewer who is hyping this, the show host. So yeah, but if I was on a show, I should have the right to veto that. Surely Mr. Greer has seen this. Surely he knows that the interviewer called him the greatest UFO alien expert on planet Earth. Wouldn't you, as if you were Mr. Greer, say that's a little too much? Walk that back a little bit or change the title? I mean, I would if I was on a show and they did something like that, if I was a guest. But it appears, and by the way, I previewed this. Somebody said they wanted me to cover it or talk about it, but I listened to an hour of this, and this is Greer's greatest hits. You know, people were murdered, and you know he's got such important information, and the UFO cover up, and the free energy, same crap he always talks about. So we're not going to cover another interview where he talks about the same crap he's been pushing for 20 years now. But it's interesting that Mr. Greer is being promoted as, quote, the greatest living extraterrestrial and UFO expert on planet Earth today, Dr. Stephen Greer. I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I think, wow, that's like a little bit, it's a little bit much, right? And you know, I always forget, we're going to be trying to remedy something. And that is that I always forget that we have people that are brand new to the crazy land of UFOs and aliens. And sometimes we do a show and I make assumptions like, well, if you're here, you know who Stephen Greer is. But for the benefit of some of the newcomers to the crazy world, this crazy world, we'll give a brief overview. Stephen Greer is a well-known figure in the world of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. He's written several books on the subject and is the founder of the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, CSETI, and the Disclosure Project. However, many experts have criticized Greer for making money by selling fake alien and UFO stories for profit. Chief among them would be me. Since 2001, to be honest with you, I have been very, very critical of Dr. Stephen Greer. And I got some of the inside baseball of that 2001 disclosure hearing, including all the dirt on some of the speakers he used that were, let's just say, less than credible people. Now, granted, he used a few hundred people in that, or claims he had a few hundred witnesses, but many of them were very suspicious or not worthy of just believing because they were telling stories. One of Greer's most popular products is the CE5 Contact app, which you could buy for $10 on the internet. The app, he claims, can help people make contact with extraterrestrial life. The app includes guided meditations and other tools that are supposed to make it easier for people to communicate with aliens. However, many, including me, have pointed out that there is no scientific evidence to support the claims made by Greer, especially specific to this CE5 app. He promotes this as, buy this app and you'll see aliens. You'll talk to aliens. You'll see spaceships, right? And my take on that app is that the app is little more than a scam designed to make money. And I can call it a scam because until Dr. Stephen Greer can prove that you can pay $10 to talk to aliens, it's a scam. A scam is a scam. Another example of Greer's questionable practices is his, quote, Ambassador to the Universe program. For a fee of roughly $3,500, participants can join in a training program that promises to teach them how to make contact with extraterrestrial life. However, in the case of that program, many, including me, have been very critical of his so-called Ambassador to the Universe program. After all, we can demonstrably prove, we can demonstrate that he has charged people money claiming to show them spaceships when he showed them things like flare exercises. That one is on record. It is verifiable. He took money from people. He showed them flares being dropped during military exercises and said that they were aliens. Some of the other notables are that he claimed during one of these Ambassador to the Universe programs that they saw an alien. But Lion's Ground, Heathcliff Spencer, proved that what they actually saw was a cactus off in the distance in front of them, a big cactus cactus, but still a cactus. It wasn't an alien. Why is this man allowed to criminally defraud the public for $3,500 a head to show them cactuses and claim they're aliens? In another famous case, available on UFOWatchdog.com, he claimed that moths were extraterrestrial beings being seen at his events. A moth is not an alien, Dr. Stephen Greer. So I have been very critical of his CE5 events as very expensive scams, but scams nonetheless. And I've pointed out once again that there is no evidence to support the claims made by Greer of people actually being able to experience aliens for the fee he charges. However, there is overwhelming evidence that many of the things that Dr. Stephen Greer shows people at these events is ordinary earthly objects that he pretends are something mysterious or alien. That program that he runs is little more than a way for him to make money. Lots and lots of money, but just a program to make money. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Greer's work is his promotion of the idea that the government is covering up evidence of extraterrestrial life. He has claimed to have insider knowledge of government secrets, and he has made many bold claims about the existence of UFOs and aliens. However, I've been critical of Greer for promoting conspiracy theories and without evidence, and for failing to provide any credible evidence at all to support his out-of-this-world claims. My problem with Stephen Greer's work is that it undermines genuine efforts to study the phenomenon of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. By his constantly promoting fake stories and fake aliens and conspiracy theories with no evidence, he is spreading 100% fake information, disinformation or misinformation. And he is making it incredibly harder for credible researchers to be taken seriously. Additionally, the fact that he is making money from these scams is deeply troubling, as it suggests that he is more interested in profit than in actually discovering the truth. I believe, as I believe many of you here with me believe, it's very important for people to be skeptical of the claims made by people who are charging money for things like Stephen Greer. And while there is undoubtedly much that we don't know about the universe and the possibility of extraterrestrial life, by the way, I'm a believer. There has to be something out there. There has to be. Just imagine the vastness of the universe. And quite honestly, human minds aren't sufficient to even grasp the vastness of the universe. Trillions and trillions of stars, hundreds of trillions of exoplanets out there. If Earth is indeed imbued with life just as random chance, a lucky roll of the dice, that lucky roll of the dice has had to have happened somewhere else in the vast cosmos. And therefore, I believe there is extraterrestrial life. But I think we must be very careful not to jump to conclusions based on flimsy, terrible evidence or unverified claims, especially from people charging money for their information. Only through rigorous scientific investigation can we hope to uncover the truth about this fascinating and mysterious subject. Stephen Greer's practice of making money by selling fake alien and UFO stories, including, by the way, he made millions of dollars running around with a dead, deformed baby, claiming it was an alien for several years. And that profiting off of a dead baby, he's willing to do that. I find that deeply troubling. And again, it undermines genuine efforts to study the phenomenon of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. It spreads misinformation and conspiracy theories. And it does more harm than good. Allowing Stephen Greer to continue to profit from verifiably fake information, verifiably fake stories, does nothing for us, right? He's not a hero of disclosure. He's a hero of profit. That's what Stephen Greer is. And by the way, you may be aware that Stephen Greer has gotten a trailer hitched to him in the form of Third Phase of Moon. And I would just, for the sake of argument, ask you, if Stephen Greer really was well-intentioned, well-meaning, and he cared about more than money, would he associate with people who have promoted and profited from more UFO hoaxes and alien hoaxes than anyone else on planet Earth in the form of Third Phase of Moon? They are partnering up. They produced one documentary which was laughable, in which Dr. Stephen Greer claimed that he went on a secret mission with Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. Yeah, you know, the guy with the beard and the guitar. They went on a secret mission and they went to an underground base and they saw alien medical technology that could regrow limbs. Absolutely no evidence of it. Absolutely no proof of it. He also claimed in that shit documentary made by Third Phase of Moon and him that an entire engineering company got murdered in the state of Michigan. So we checked all the public records. No such event ever occurred. But don't let a story being fake get in the way of documentary money that you could make. So Third Phase of Fake are now hitched up with him. They're going to be making all these documentaries with him. And it's important also to note that in the case of Dr. Stephen Greer, remember, this is disclosure for dollars. Disclosure costs money, okay? And I always wonder, like, if I ever get to meet Dr. Stephen Greer, I'm going to ask him, hey, Dr. Greer, how many more millions of dollars do you need before you'll give us the disclosure that you've been promising us for 25 years, right? A lot of people, give Stephen Greer a start point of 2001 because that's when that disclosure hearing happened. But he's been around for 10 years longer than that. So we're talking about like 25 or 35 years. This guy has been running around collecting every dollar he can, promising us disclosure and delivering garbage. He has delivered garbage. And don't any of you assholes get in my inbox talking about the Disclosure Project, right? He really moved the ball forward down the field and all this nonsense. No, he didn't. The Disclosure Project was largely filled with wackadoos telling wackadoo stories with no evidence or no proof. And just a few examples, Clifford Stone, who claimed that he was in an alien crash retrieval program in the Army, of course, later, he decided that he was, I think it was Napoleon reincarnated, and he was somebody in ancient Egypt reincarnated. And he got more superpowers as time went on, and he started talking about how he can move things with his mind, right? And by the way, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, so rest in peace to that guy. Another notable was Mark McCandlish. And by the way, one of my my two favorite UFO stories, probably of all time, are Bob Lazar, even though that's fake, and the ARV. But unfortunately, and remember, the ARV was a huge part of the Disclosure Project for Stephen Greer. He holds up that big picture of the flying saucer that Mark drew, but Mark had no verifiable evidence or proof that his story was true. And in fact, he was telling a secondhand account from a man named Brad Sorensen. And by the way, I've been trying to get that guy, Brad Sorensen, to come on the record for an interview for 20 years. It's probably never going to happen. So, people credit Stephen Greer. Oh, he really moved the ball forward down the field with this. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. It had zero effect, none. And so I am always left, when I think of Dr. Stephen Greer, with a very simple question. How many more millions of dollars do you need to get, dude, before you give us the disclosure you already promised us 25 years ago, right? Or 21 years, whatever. 2001, disclosure is coming. We're going to bring about disclosure. Well, dude, it's 22 years later, and all you've done is run through the UFO community like a maniac, sucking up every dollar you can, and you still haven't provided evidence or proof. This is the problem that I have. I'm fine with people making money, but if you're going to promise something like alien disclosure while you're collecting money, you damn well better deliver on some proof, evidence. And I don't mean moths or flares or cactuses you claim are aliens. I mean proof. Earn the money you're taking. And here's another thing that I'm going to say, and this may sound selfish, but I don't care. Um, Dr. Stephen Greer sucking all the money out of the UFO community has more detrimental effects than you imagine. Because for every Dr. Stephen Greer or Corey Goode or David Wilcock or Linda Moulton Howe or any of these other top tier scammers making millions, there are hundreds or perhaps thousands of good, credible authors, researchers, and journalists who cannot do their work because they do not get or have the funding to do so. I talked to somebody who's a very good author, and he just came out with a book last year. I asked him, what's the new, he's always working on it, but what's the new book you're working on? Well, I had to take a job delivering pizza, and I'm trying to write, but I'm tired and I don't have the full time energy anymore. And I was surprised because he has many books on Amazon and he still can't make a living doing this. And I think it's largely because of these frauds and scammers sucking all the money out of the community. There's no money left for the good researchers. And of course, the people making the huge claims are the ones that the money follows, right? UFO John Doe, thank you for being here and for being a member. Stephen Kearing is the greatest living truth seeker expert debunking and exposing UFO fraudsters on this planet. Well, no, see, that's too much. Also, to the guy annoyed by Super Chat, stop being cheap and support the show. Yeah. Do you know, UFO John Doe, one time I almost freaked out on somebody because they kept sending me complaints about the show. And this is probably a year and a half or 2 years ago now. But they kept sending complaints about the show. Every day they would email me a complaint about the show. And after a while, I got so pissed off, I said, join my Patreon. And he said, but I'm not on your Patreon. I said, yeah, it costs $1 a month. Join my Patreon, or I don't want to read any more complaints from you. He's like, what? And I said, if I have to listen to you complain every day, you can at least give me $1 a month. And he obviously listened to every single minute of every single show, but he was always complaining and unhappy and stuff like that. You know, it is what it is, though. But thank you, UFO John Doe, longtime show supporter, big supporter of the show. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support in helping us to praise the cash. See, and by the way, I realize that I'm in a very good position here because there are other people who are similarly interested in this topic who don't get to spend the time that I do dedicate to research and investigating and covering these things because they don't get the funding. They don't have the funds to do so. I'm very fortunate. I will continue to be very fortunate. I am blessed, like all you members and people like UFO John Doe, very kind and generous of you. Thank you for your kindness. Praise the cash.
You're watching Truthseekers. Praise the cash, praise the
cash. Thank you, UFO John Doe. Yeah. Some people, Brandy Phillips says some people just like to complain. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, so we're going to move on to some other people, but quite honestly, the writings that I have are pretty similar on each of these. And I have some notes on fake story promoters. And this will make some people. I'm reading what I wrote. One of the most prominent UFO promoters is the website Secure Team 10 and YouTube channel. It was created in 2010 by Tyler Glockner, who claims to be a UFO researcher and videographer. The site has become one of the most popular sources for UFO news and claims to have, and he has over 2 million subscribers, I believe. However, many of the stories and videos on the site have been debunked by real experts who have pointed out that the videos and photographs are often manipulated and staged. And we can talk for a moment about that too. That is certainly a detrimental thing to the study of UFOs. If you've got people like Secure Team 10 or Third Phase of Moon. Those are the two biggest garbage peddlers on YouTube. And to be fair to Tyler Glockner, he keeps saying that he's trying to do better. Maybe he is. I just don't see it. It looks like he posts a lot of garbage like Third Phase of Moon. I think Third Phase of Moon is probably worse, but now we're getting into an argument of, which pile of shit stinks the most, right? They're both piles of shit. Does it really matter which pile of shit stinks the least? I don't think so. So we've got Tyler Glockner and Third Phase of Moon. And by the way, we're broadcasting those Third Phase of Moon documentaries every day on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. They're free documentaries at Stephen Cambion. They cost nothing. And by the way, that's another thing. The funding from the show has allowed me to do some incredible things. Like I have been trying to figure out how to produce documentaries for some time now. And I did. I made my first documentary. We made it free. I figured, well, it's a learning experience. It's not very incredibly edited and no budget. It was made on a budget of $0. So we made it free. If you follow me on Twitter, it's at Stephen Cambion. We're going to be posting more free documentaries. I'm going to make a couple of more before I'm going to feel confident and secure enough. And by the way, we got some great news too, because I had excellent feedback from that documentary. By the way, there's two Third Phase of Moon, what people are calling documentaries. The first is Third Phase of Moon, The Hoax Files, Third Phase of Moon Exposed. That's not really a documentary. It's like the first of an episode of a series. It was made by someone named Sapiens Culture, not me, but we decided to spread it around and help him distribute it because we have a bigger bullhorn. And he got it copyright stricken off of YouTube because Third Phase of Moon are intellectual weaklings and cowards. And they know that makes them look like ass clowns. So we're putting it on Twitter every day to my 5,000 followers or whatever I have. And it's available on Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey, BitChute, and Rumble channels as well. Back to the major point here, the garbage shovelers, right? I was talking to alien scientists and I said, trying to study this thing called UFOs is like sitting you climbing into a dumpster full of trash, right? And there's something in there. There's some valuable information in there, but you have to go through every piece of trash and throw it out of the dumpster. And when you get about halfway through throwing all the trash out of the dumpster you're searching through, somebody like Tyler Glockner of Secure Team 10 or the Cousins Idiot Brothers come along and just fill it back up. You haven't even emptied the first pile of garbage that they put in there, and now there's another pile of garbage that is in there. It's discouraging and it's not necessary. But, how do we stop this literal flood of disinformation? It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. And so much of the information out there is false, fraudulent, made up, garbage for profit. It's very, very discouraging. And we have John Chow with a kind and generous $5. So many researchers, so little time. Can we collaborate? I'm working on an Art Bell book. I'm sure there's a crossover. Let's start a book club. Sure. Email me. We're always looking for fun guests that are into these strange and esoteric topics. So you can email me from our About link. It's truthseekershow@gmail.com. And by the way, we appreciate your kindness, your generosity, and support in helping us praise the cat. Thank you, John Cho, and all of you kind and generous benefactors. We'll take a few comments before we go back. Jimmy Needs Church keeps hounding him to dig up that videotape from when Glockner was in the pool filming his first UFO. Also, he got back from flying to the East Coast for a party in 48 hours. I don't follow him very much, but interestingly, one time, I think it was when we were battling with Third Phase of Fake, he sent me some kind of message on Facebook, but then he unsent the message. And I've always wondered, like, what did he have to say to me or what was that about? Someday I'll talk to him and, I just think that these disinformation peddlers, they don't do anything good. They're not helping solve the mystery. They're helping make it harder to solve the mystery, because just imagine if tomorrow we woke up and every fake story about UFOs or aliens was gone, and all we had left are things that really have evidence, really have some kind of verifiable proof or some meat on the bones. How much easier would it be to get to the good stuff and solve the mystery? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And another example of a UFO promoter is Robert Hastings, who's been making the news lately, who claims to have witnessed and documented UFO sightings at nuclear weapons sites. Hastings has written books and given lectures on the subject, but many of his claims have been called into question by people like me who have found major inconsistencies in his stories and evidence. Hastings' claims have also been criticized for promoting fear and mistrust of the government, as he suggests that the military is hiding the truth about UFOs and their potential threat to national security. And by the way, Hastings he's making the rounds now because he's going to testify before Congress. Remember, he's also claimed to be abducted by aliens and spent time on spaceships. Our government is spending money talking to a guy who claims that he's been abducted by aliens and spent time on spaceships, in addition to claiming that UFOs are disabling our nuclear weapons. The problem with UFO promoters using fake stories is that it really does undermine the genuine efforts by good people to investigate the phenomenon. There are undoubtedly many people, and here's where I want to be very, very clear. Sometimes people get down on me for being so critical of everything, like I'm a negative Nelly. But I truly believe that there are undoubtedly many people who have had genuine sightings of UFOs and maybe even experiences with non-human intelligence. By the way, that's something new that I'm going to be doing. I'm not saying aliens much anymore. I'm going to start saying non-human intelligence, right? And the truth is that there are very credible researchers out there who are studying or trying to study the subject in a serious and scientific way. However, what happens is that the proliferation of these fake stories and hoaxes makes it extremely difficult to separate fact from fiction, and it makes it incredibly harder for serious researchers to even be taken seriously. It makes this thing a laughable thing because people remember the fakes, like alien autopsy and other things. The use of fake stories to promote UFO sightings and conspiracy theories can have serious consequences. It can lead to increased fear and paranoia among the public, especially vulnerable people, as people become convinced that aliens are among us or about to invade. The government is hiding the truth. It can also have a negative impact on the scientific community because it can lead to a lack of funding and support for genuine research into things like, is there intelligent life on other planets, right? The use of these fake stories to promote UFO sightings is a real serious problem. I have been saying it for many years. But let's get to our next contestant on the big disclosure for dollars movement, and that is David Wilcock. David Wilcock, of course, is a very well-known figure in the world of conspiracy theories and alternative spirituality and ancient mysteries. Most well-known for being one of the talking heads or stars, he likes to call himself a star, of the History Channel series Ancient Aliens. He's written several books and has a significant following online, but I have been very critical of him for many years for making millions of dollars by promoting provably fake people and selling provably fake stories. And I have been very critical of him for being involved in various scams. One of Wilcock's most infamous claims is the secret government program to create secret government program or secret space program. He's also claimed that there's a vast conspiracy to cover up the existence of extraterrestrial life and advanced technologies and ancient mysteries, and that he has insider knowledge of of these conspiracies, along with his so-called whistleblowers. Now, I've been very critical of his whistleblowers because he's had a court-martialed child molester. He has had a fake Ronald Reagan science and technology advisor that never worked for Ronald Reagan. And he's had Corey Goode. Not very good sources. And I have criticized Wilcock for promoting baseless conspiracy theories like QAnon garbage. He was a Q-tard. And for failing to provide credible evidence to support his claims, and also for using incredibly terrible sources and not vetting his sources' claims. When somebody tells David Wilcock something, he just runs with it, right? Like Pete Peterson told him, I was a science and technology advisor for Ronald Reagan. Well, these things are on record. You can call the Ronald Reagan library, and by the way, I did, and check. No mention of that guy. He never worked for Ronald Reagan. He was a fraud. That guy, Pete Peterson's entire biography was manufactured, fabricated. All of his claims were fake. We checked them. They were all fake. David Wilcock has made perhaps $1 million promoting Pete Peterson as his #1 whistleblower, and he didn't vet the claims, right? I guess it would have gotten away the money. I have also been very critical of him for misleading his followers for profit, as he charges significant amounts of money for his books, lectures, and other products. His courses are especially expensive, $333 per course. But one of the most concerning aspects of Wilcock's work is his involvement in various scams. There was the Pete Peterson GoFundMe scam, there was the Emery Smith PayPal donation scam, and there was the David Wilcock Spiritual Foundation scam. He has been accused of fraud by more people than just me. Wilcock has been criticized for his involvement in that charity called the Wilcock Spiritual Foundation, which he claimed he would use donations to help people in need around the world. However, all we can verify from his paperwork from that charity that has to be public, the 990 forms, is that he spent almost all of the money that was coming into the charity on himself and his wife. One year spending, I believe it was $4,500 on, quote, meals and entertainment. Does he really need charitable donations so he can spend almost $5,000 for meals and entertainment? And why would you, if you were really serious about doing charitable work, spend $5,000 of the charity's money on meals and entertainment? No, that was a scam. There is little evidence to suggest that the charity has actually done any meaningful work. And many, chief among them me, have accused Wilcock of using the charity as a way to make money for himself. Now, in addition to these scams we talked about, he's also been accused of plagiarizing the work of other authors or spreading false information about science and medicine. I've criticized him for promoting pseudoscience and misleading his followers, as well as using his platform to spread fear and paranoia. As far as the plagiarizing, David Wilcock seems to think that he gets a pass for copying and pasting so many other people's work into his books. But this is a true statement. If you go and check any of David Wilcock's books and you put a few pages into an online plagiarism checker, these are tools designed for academics and professionals and for maybe college professors to make sure people aren't copying and pasting their college papers. But they're excellent tools to catch grifters, because if you copy David Wilcock's books, any of them, into a plagiarism checker, you will find that 50 to 65% of the book is copy and pasted from somebody else's book. Now, granted, he does at the end of the book cite his sources, but why would you pay him money when only half of the book is him actually writing something and the rest of it is just him copying and pasting from other people's books? David Wilcock's work, and I use the word work in quotes, like Stephen Greer's, undermines genuine efforts to understand the world and address real problems or investigate real mysteries. By promoting the fake stories that he does, he's spreading misinformation. And again, he makes it harder for people to trust legitimate sources of information. And the fact that he has been involved in just so many scams, the latest being the hover car scam. By the way, there was another scam. I believe it was a scam. He ran a course and he said, quote, if you take my course, or let's just paraphrase for the sake of accuracy. He said, if you take my course, I'm doing this course on free energy and anti-gravity. And if you take my course, you'll be able to do it too. So essentially, he's promising people all the secrets of free energy and anti-gravity for $333. To my best knowledge and understanding, nobody has come forward and shown any proof that they were able to create either of those things after taking his $333 course. So I call that one a scam too. I think it's incredibly important for people to be very, very critical of claims made by David Wilcock. I think David Wilcock is mock worthy, and I try to be a better person than that, and not really make fun of him for being such a scammer. But when it comes to David Wilcock, I am just like 125% convinced that he is just scamming people for money. The thing that I wonder is, does he really believe this stuff himself, or does he know it's fake while he's collecting all this money, right? And to be clear, I think it's important to be open-minded and explore alternative perspectives, even alternative realities. But I also think it's important to demand evidence when people are making outrageous, out-of-this-world claims, and to be skeptical of claims that are not supported by credible sources. His sources, David Wilcock's sources, are garbage. They're fake people telling fake stories. Only through a very careful investigation and a lot of critical thinking about David Wilcock's claims was I able to come to that conclusion. Most people are not going to dig for an entire day into his sources, educations, claimed credentials, work history. I do, because I'm kind of a little nutty like that, I guess. But I'm glad that I do, because then I share it here with our audience. And I think critical thinking, we have to hope at least that we can distinguish fact from fiction, and who is selling us something and who really is after the truth and trying to share the truth with us. And only then can we make informed decisions about these great mysteries. David Wilcock's practice of making money by promoting fake stories, fake people, and fake evidence, as well as involvement in various scams, is deeply concerning to me. How many people is he leading astray? And again, his garbage peddling makes it harder on real and serious, credible researchers. I'm going to check in with the live chat. It looks like we're caught up here. We want to welcome each and every one of you for joining us. Have great attendance tonight. Lots of people. The live chat is doing well. Questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. I would appreciate that. Wilcock can't even make a proper leaving a job letter. Yeah. I don't know. Listen, XXX, I have had many corporate jobs. A lot of people don't know that. I spent 20 years of my life sitting in a corporate cubicle, like one of those cubicle farms, like that huge building, and you go in and there's just hundreds of people sitting in boxes. Yeah, I was one of those sad people. Thank God I got out. I'm never going back to a cubicle. I will dig ditches or deliver pizza or Uber. I'll do anything else. I will never sit in a cubicle again. But when I did, you learn some things, XXX, like business etiquette. If you're going to leave a job, you give them like 3 sentences, like, hey, thank you for the opportunity. I'm moving on to a new opportunity. I wish all my friends and colleagues the best of luck in all their future endeavors. That's how you resign in a real business. David Wilcock left a 12-page rambling, ridiculous letter about Luciferian Satanists and pedophilia and all this stuff. It was crazy, absolutely ridiculous. But it shows you how ridiculous David Wilcock is. And we will turn to his partner in slime, Corey Goode. Corey Goode is another well-known figure in the world of ufology that makes an incredible amount of money. He claims to be a whistleblower about the secret space program with insider knowledge of a secret space program run by the U.S. government. He's made a number of sensational claims about his alleged experiences, including contact with extra-dimensional beings known as the Blue Avians and contact with future Earth citizens that live in honeycomb Earth, named the anchovies. I mean the anchar. I always skip. I always like mix those two up. However, I have been very critical of him for promoting fake stories with zero evidence for 8 years now, and profiting from those fake stories with no evidence at all to support them. According to Corey Goode, he was recruited into a secret space program as a child where he underwent training to become a member of an elite group of space travelers. He claims to have participated in a number of highly classified missions, including trips to other planets, including a trip to Mars, where he claims that he built a habitat on the planet Mars. And he also claims to have encountered a variety of extraterrestrial beings, most notably the blue avians. And while Goode's claims have he has gained a significant following online, or at least he did for a time. I believe that following is going to be drying up very quickly. I have pointed out for 8 years now that he has provided no credible evidence to support his stories. None. There are no public records of his alleged training or missions. There is no corroborating evidence or witnesses to support his claims of contact with extraterrestrial beings. And let's not forget, he claims that he actually has time traveled, meaning he has broken the laws of physics somehow. And Goode has been, I've been very critical of him for profiting from his claims because he has no evidence. And he profits from those claims through the sale of books, lectures, and other products. Some have accused him of exploiting people's fears and anxieties to make money, and for promoting baseless conspiracy theories that certainly have the potential to cause harm. Corey Goode, like the rest of our rogues gallery tonight, his claims have undermined genuine efforts to investigate and understand the real secret space program. And again, before I get any nasty emails, I believe there is a secret space program. In fact, I'm 100% sure there's a secret space program. I don't believe in Corey Goode's version of it. And by the way, all you have to do, I say this all the time, is look up the X-37B. That's a secret space program. There's a secret space shuttle that's orbiting the Earth for years at a time, and none of us lowly peasants are allowed to know what it's doing. That alone, one data point, is proof there is a real and verifiable secret space program. There's something that the U.S. government is doing in space they don't want us to know about. We're not allowed to know about. But Corey Goode's ridiculous Buck Rogers science fiction fantasy stories of time travel and battling reptilian aliens in space has undermined real researchers in the field of secret space program research. People, it was getting heated up before Goode came along in 2015, 2016, and just shit all over secret space program research. He destroyed it all. There was good people like Joseph Farrell and Walter Bosley and Dark Journalist and many others doing very good research into the real secret space program. Then along comes Goode talking about time traveling and, you know, battles in space and sphere beings and blue chicken aliens. And he ruined all of the efforts, because now when people mention secret space program, they think of him and his ridiculous Buck Rogers fantasy stories instead of the reality that there really is a real U.S. government secret space program that they are hiding from us. By the way, I have been trying to research the real secret space program, and I'll be bringing you my findings soon. And by the way, I believe that Corey Goode's claims about a secret space program in contact with extraterrestrial beings was so financially successful because it was incredibly tantalizing to some people. It confirmed what they already believed or wanted to believe, that there's aliens out there, that time travel is possible, that interstellar travel is possible, and more. But by profiting from his fake stories and promoting absolutely fantastical, out-of-this-world stories with absolutely no evidence, Corey Goode is contributing to the spread of misinformation and disinformation about the real what's really going on with the secret space program. And he's undermining efforts from genuine, good, and real researchers into these topics. Some people believe that he was sent in to do exactly that. I have just one more person in our rogues gallery, and that would be everyone's favorite fake everyone's favorite fake UFO and alien story huckster, at least one of mine, and that's Linda Moulton Howe. Now there are certainly more. We'll talk about them separately. Okay, one second. So Linda Moulton Howe, like the other of our rogues gallery tonight, is a well-known figure in the world of ufology. She's gained notoriety for her claims and stories about contact with extraterrestrial beings, cattle mutilations by aliens, but she has become famous through the promotion of 100% verifiably fake stories and fake alien photographs. While she has amassed a significant following among conspiracy theorists and fans of aliens and UFOs who are interested in things like the paranormal, many people, including me, have been very critical of her for promoting things like a picture from a 2005 video game cover of an alien that was 100% artist rendered or created as a, quote, genuine gray alien picture taken on the moon, unquote. One of the most controversial aspects of Howe's so-called, and I put work in quotes here, is her promotion of fake photographs of aliens that she claims are evidence of real extraterrestrial aliens. For example, in the 1990s, she became somewhat famous for her story and her claims about a series of photos that she said showed an alien being held captive in a government facility. However, the photographs were quickly debunked as hoaxes by experts, and many experts accused Howe of promoting them for personal or financial gain. Now, that was in the 1990s. Most recently, we caught her here at Truthseekers promoting 2 other times, promoting 100% provably fake photographs. So that's 3 times at least she has promoted 100% provably fake pictures of aliens and made tens of thousands of dollars every time she's done it. There was the 2005 video game cover from the video game called Area 51. I think that was like a PlayStation 1 game. I still have it. That's why I knew what it was right away. And most recently, she promoted a series of photos from a Brazilian artist who created them for a fictional web series or blog he was writing about the Men in Black. These were 100% provably fake artist-generated images, and we proved that, and we even interviewed the original artist who made them. So that's 3 times she has made tens of thousands of dollars promoting essentially 100% fake pictures of aliens as real pictures of aliens. My other criticism for Linda Moulton Howe is her tendency to promote stories that lack any credible evidence whatsoever. For example, she's made claims about secret government programs that are supposedly involved with contact with extraterrestrial beings, but she has provided little or no evidence to support any of her claims, all the while making tens of thousands of dollars selling those stories. And I have been very critical of her for promoting, I call them evidence-less true stories. If you cannot say a story is true if you have no evidence that the story is true. However, that hasn't stopped Linda from becoming a millionaire selling these things. By the way, she's one of the most highly paid speakers at UFO conferences. She can get between $10,000 and $20,000 for one appearance. Yeah, we'll be lucky to make that in a year here. Not that I'm complaining. We take our pennies and roll on. And despite my criticism of her, Howe, who is aware of our work here, proving that she hoaxes or fakes things, she has continued to promote her work through books, lectures, public appearances, and other products. And she has a significant following on the internet. for people interested in UFOs, aliens, and the paranormal. But I have argued that her promotion of fake stories, and especially fake photographs of aliens, again, undermines genuine research into this field to investigate and understand the world we're dealing with, which is UFOs and possible alien visitation. I believe she causes incredible harm, and she makes this field the subject of ridicule, because when she gets caught promoting a 100% provably fake alien picture as a real picture of an alien, and she's making tens of thousands of dollars, that's what people remember. Oh yeah, that lady with the fake alien pictures. It was a video game cover. It was a Brazilian artist. It was a fake hoax series of photographs. That's what people remember. And it's important to note that I believe in the possibility of extraterrestrial life. I find it an intriguing and important topic. But it's important that we demand evidence from people like Linda Moulton Howe, or we demand accountability. Why is there no accountability? She gets caught promoting fake alien pictures 3 times, and she's still getting between $10,000 and $20,000 for one public appearance. How is that even possible? Well, she's very popular, and she puts asses in the seats because she tells the true believers stories that they find tantalizing, stories they want to hear, right? Yeah, we can see your messages just fine, Eisen. All right. So that is what I have for you for the major, but we're not done yet. I didn't write so much for the remainder of what we'll talk about. We've talked about so far David Wilcock, Corey Goode, Linda Moulton Howe, and Stephen Greer. Those people, those 4, I believe, are the highest paid disinformation peddlers, misinformation peddlers, garbage peddlers. And that, again, is David Wilcock, Corey Goode, Linda Moulton Howe, and Stephen Greer. Those are the people that make the most money in the disclosure for dollars movement. And by the way, all 4 of them have made millions of dollars doing this. And so far, not a one of them has provided any smoking gun evidence or proof of either alien visitation, alien abduction, the secret space program, anything. They have provided 0 smoking gun evidence or proof, no irrefutable proof that their claims are true, despite making millions and millions of dollars promoting these stories as, quote, true stories, unquote. We've talked about Third Phase Moon and Secure Team 10. They have made millions and millions of dollars promoting garbage videos and still images that are suspicious or suspect at best. Now, I want to talk for a moment about Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp have also made millions of dollars. They should be on that list as well, but you'll have to excuse me. I got the portions, we do sort of scripts here, and I wrote most of the script, but I didn't get to these people, so I'll be doing this remainder off the top of my head. But I do have to say there is an excellent video that I came across, and it is, boy, it's pretty interesting. It's Dark Journalist, and he is he's kind of taking it to Jeremy Corbell. He called him a clown. Which is interesting to me. 1 second. Let me get that video. I'm sorry. I thought I had it here. So Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp should be on the list of the top tier grifters, because they have both made millions and millions of dollars for selling. The most notable story both of them sold, 2 of them really, are the Skinwalker Ranch stories and Bob Lazar. And in the case of Skinwalker Ranch, we saw that George Knapp was asked point blank by Joe Rogan, do you have any evidence? Is there any evidence? He starts telling Skinwalker Ranch stories, and Joe Rogan asked him, is there any evidence of this? And he said, well, no, not if you want like real verified. No, we don't have any evidence. Yet in his book about Skinwalker Ranch, the first one, he claims that the book was based on all this forensic evidence. So where's the evidence, George Knapp? George Knapp has made millions of dollars by promoting just two of the stories that he has promoted over the years, Skinwalker Ranch and Bob Lazar. Now, don't get me started on Bob Lazar. You can use the search function and see all of our coverage on Bob Lazar. But here's what we have proven here through careful study, research, and investigation. One, Bob Lazar never stepped foot on Area 51. We have in our archives here an interview with a verifiable, real Area 51 security guard who was there at the time that Bob Lazar claimed to have worked there. When he saw the news reports on local Las Vegas news, by the way, that's where he lived, he called George Knapp and he said, you better be careful selling this guy as an Area 51 whistleblower or insider. He's never stepped foot there. And the Area 51 security guard knew that because there are logs of everyone who flies in and out of Area 51. And you have to show identification and use your real name. And everybody flying in and out of that base, it's a secret base after all. Lots of secrets there. They log every single individual who ever flies in or ever flies out. Bob Lazar claimed to have flown in and out of Area 51 many times on the Janet Airlines. He's not in the logs. He didn't work there. Further, that Area 51 security guard drove out to the place where Bob Lazar claimed this S4 secret research facility that on a different area of Area 51 was. Do you know what was there? Nothing. Dirt, tumbleweeds, rocks. That's it. There was nothing that Bob Lazar described. And by the way, this is right after Bob Lazar gave his real name. So it would have been the time of the second interview that George Knapp did in, I believe, 1989. Security guard, very interested. Wow, there's aliens here? He went looking for Bob Lazar's secret base. He went right up to the mountain. No hangar bay doors. There was no road there. There was no guard shack. There was no guards. There was no oppressive military presence. There was no guys in black suits, right? Black fatigues, army fatigues, and machine guns guarding that secret facility. There was nothing there. Further, Bob Lazar's bosses, when he worked at Lanel as a subcontractor, all confirmed that Bob Lazar was not and never was a scientist at Los Alamos National Labs like he claimed. He claimed to be a senior staff level physicist there. His former bosses laughed at that. Bob Lazar was a low-level technician and a subcontractor at that. Bob Lazar was the kind of guy who would get a real scientist a new computer or run network cables to the server for you. A new mouse, if you spilled coffee on your mouse. He is not now, nor has he ever been, a real scientist. His education is also completely fake. These are all inconvenient truths to UFO profiteering hucksters like, oh, I'm getting blurry like Bigfoot. What? Come on. Okay, so these are inconvenient truths, but they're still the truth. Inconvenient if you're trying to sell a story. And the Bob Lazar story works. We've talked about it time and time again. The Bob Lazar story works by a lie by omission. George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell give you all this tantalizing information about Bob Lazar, but they leave out all the information I just gave you, which absolutely blows the story to shit. And there is also the inconvenient truth that Bob Lazar is a convicted pimp who ran a whorehouse. I challenge anybody, go find me another scientist in the United States who also runs a whorehouse. You're not going to. Scientists worry about their research and their credibility. This, once again, proves that Bob Lazar is not a real scientist. So the inconvenient truth, the lie by omission, these are things that George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell leave out in order to sell you the stories that they want to sell you. They lie by omission. They just forget to tell you all the facts and evidence that I just told you. There's also the inconvenient truth that the Bob Lazar passing for lie detector claims of Knapp and Corbell and Bob Lazar are complete and total garbage. We proved that. We have another video here about that. So, and the Skinwalker Ranch, I'm sorry, millions and millions and millions of dollars have been generated out of Skinwalker Ranch stories. There is many, many books. There is a few documentaries about Skinwalker Ranch. George Knapp has written several books about Skinwalker Ranch. Jeremy Corbell made a documentary about Skinwalker Ranch. There's a television show, Skinwalker Ranch. There are millions and millions and millions of dollars being generated out of Skinwalker Ranch. So shouldn't there be some proof? Shouldn't there be some evidence? We saw Stephen Greenstreet visit there. He asked them to see the best evidence. They showed him videos of moths and spiders and shit. That's all they got. After years and years and years of dumping all this money into investigating Skinwalker Ranch, the best evidence they have is some hokey-ass videos that don't prove anything. But they do have a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories. I'll give them that. But no evidence. Not real evidence. So Knapp and Corbell go up there along with these other contestants tonight. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the whole disclosure for dollars thing. But before we do that, somebody sent me this clip and we made a nice clip out of it because Alien Scientist, by the way, he's a friend of the show. He's a good researcher. Alien Scientist, who has been on the Bob Lazar's a fraud case probably longer than me. He ran Bob Lazar Exposed or something like that for a while, or Bob Lazar Debunk.com with all the information that Bob Lazar was a fraud. Great resource. But Dark Journalist was doing a show recently, and Jeremy Corbell, friend of the show, asked a question to Dark Journalist, and boy, when I heard what Dark Journalist said about Jeremy Corbell, he called him a clown. He said he's got to do his clown thing. I couldn't believe it, and maybe you won't either, but I saved the clip. And I think this is a dead-on representation, or it's an accurate representation of what Corbell's role is in all of this. Corbell is a clown. He's a bobo, right? If the CIA wants a dummy to help them spread false information, a bobo, they get Jeremy Corbell, or a clown like Jeremy Corbell. He's a clown. He's a bobo. That's his job. Here, we'll give you some shitty videos. Tell everybody they're UFOs and alien spaceships, and he does exactly that. And I think that Dark Journalist did an excellent job nailing him down as a clown, or what I think he also uses the term bobo. I heard that in several different places. A bobo is a CIA clown. When the CIA is doing an op and they need somebody to spread false information for them, that's a bobo. That's a Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell is a bobo or a clown, and Dark Journalist nails him. This is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public and honestly just sharing with people what other respected researchers in the paranormal world are saying about Jeremy Corbell.
Yes.
Alien Scientist, Jeremy Corbell on CNN a week before the balloon op. Just a coincidence?
Well, Corbell is like, he's like the clown. He's like the circus clown. And he needs to kind of come out and do the clown bit. What happens with somebody like that is, they go on Fox News, they go on CNN, and they say UFO expert. Okay, so first of all, how do you even become a UFO expert? This guy made a film about Bob Lazar, and before that, he was a condo guy. He ran a condo, so he's not a UFO expert. He's probably somebody who is a UFO enthusiast, and so he got on this thing with George Knapp, and George Knapp, it's tough to look at his career because he brought forward things in the 90s and in the 2000s. And then he got involved with Bigelow and TTSA and Elizondo and DeLong. And, it's all CIA wash. So I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on somebody like Knapp. But now that he's wrapped up with Corbell, forget it. And they're there at CNN's, saying, CNN wants to get to the bottom of this, and that damn government better give us the truth, when all the people around them feeding them this false information are all government people. Elizondo's government, Gary Nolan is CIA, over a decade of CIA. I mean, come on, these are government people. So that damn government, this whole thing, Elizondo is an ex-Pentagon fighter, he never left the Pentagon. He's not ex-anything. So it's a joke. That was a narrative. And so we have some people in the media, let's say there are good people in the media. Let's say even Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson were trying to do something, and they're like, we're covering UFOs and stuff. And they bring in all these CIA people to talk about the subject. That's the problem that I have with it. They do not have the background and the information on it. So someone like CNN working with Corbell, they can create a whole phony setup, basically, of CNN wants to get to the bottom of the UFO thing and really milk it. And this guy, is dropping F-bombs every 2 seconds about it. It's to downgrade the whole thing. That is the exact opposite of disclosure. It has nothing to do with disclosure at all. It's a circus marketing freak show. Thank you, alien scientist, for that question.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. Jeremy Corbell is a clown or a bobo. And we can't finish our disclosure for dollars discussion, however, without mentioning a few more people like Tom DeLonge and TTSA. They collected millions of dollars. They promised everybody a spaceship with a, quote, revolutionary power source that would change the world. And what they delivered was cartoons. Great job. That was a techno scam. And I have been very forcefully saying that Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, Steve Justice, Tom DeLonge, and others perpetrated a techno scam against the American people. And I believe that they also may have illegally profited from government property. After all, those videos that they released were government property. Why did they get to make millions of dollars out of what was taxpayer-funded videos, essentially? It's absolutely ridiculous. And just to display how ridiculous it is, I have something that Stephen Greenstreet made. And when I get a chance, I got to ask him how the hell he did this, because I don't know. I know how he could do that. Anyway, he did these voices, and this is the perfect display of how ridiculous the TTSA techno scam was, with Elizondo, running an imaginary UFO program that never existed. And don't send me hate mail, you assholes. Yeah.
Now, goddamn it, Bobby. I don't care what Chris Mellon said on Fox News. You're not giving money to that Blink-182 fella.
But Dad, they promised to build a spaceship.
No one's building a spaceship, Bobby.
But the Daily Mail reported that.
Those people are all insane.
Yeah. So those people are all insane, right? I kind of believe that. And let's not forget Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan has been whoring out Stanford University laboratories, personnel, equipment, and even the offices and the buildings. Like, oh, are you a UFO scammer? Do you want to come and film at Stanford so that your UFO garbage peddled story looks more credible? Come on in. And we found out that it's against the Stanford University Code of Ethics for him to profit from, for him to personally profit by using university equipment, personnel, labs, students. And he is. So we asked him to answer some ethics questions about the Code of Ethics at Stanford. And he sent me a nasty email and refused to answer the questions. Gary Nolan is another bobo. And by the way, yeah, we're going to do a whole show on CIA bobos or CIA clowns, because we've got Elizondo. He's a CIA clown, some more than others. And we've got Tom DeLonge. He was the bobo. We need an idiot. We need an idiot that will use his celebrity power to help us scam more people with this techno scam. That's what Tom DeLonge's job was, right? And I almost feel bad for him, because just to be clear, I know somebody that was like an employee of his on one of his tours. And despite how I think he's gullible and stupid and believes anything, I have mercy for him a little bit because he truly is a true believer. The person that I know who worked for him told me that he spent every waking moment when he wasn't on stage reading books about Bigfoot, UFOs, the Bermuda Triangle, and everything else, aliens. He was constantly reading about that stuff and talking about it. He truly is at least interested and passionate in the subject, but he has allowed himself to have his celebrity used so a bunch of CIA spooks could sell the public a false set of goods, essentially. And Gary Nolan is making all of this money. Gary Nolan's job is to reinforce the claims made by UFO scammers like Stephen Greer, like Ross Coulthart. Remember Ross Coulthart? They promised everybody that we were going to get conclusive proof of alien technology, right? Ross Coulthart promised everybody conclusive proof of alien technology. And we famously covered that here because they make these deceptive promos promising everybody, quote, conclusive proof of alien technology, all brought to you by this man. Then they cut to a shot of Michio Kaku. Michio Kaku didn't know anything about it, or he wasn't supposed to do any analysis. The analysis work on the ball shavings. You remember the balls, right? The ball shaving, supposed to be an alien orb or something, right? Well, Ross Coulthart made a lot of promises. He outright defrauded the public, lying in promotional material, trying to get people to click on the piece, which, by the way, was so bad they've taken down. And Ross Coulthart was previously a disgraced journalist before he got into covering UFOs. Before UFOs became his bread and butter, he was a 60 Minutes Australia reporter, but he got his contract not renewed. He essentially got laid off. And why? I believe it's because he promoted another fake stories about a provably fake story with provably fake stories about pedos involved in the British government. He called it the biggest bombshell ever. And it was a provably 100% fake story. Here's Ross Coulthart promoting another 100% provably fake story that involved Dr. Gary Nolan, another clown.
And can I just say, even though I'm not entirely comfortable at times with the way they sensationalize in their promos, because I thought the promos for our story were a tad over the top at times.
What you're seeing here is momentous.
You think that's alien technology?
Yes, I do.
I thought the promos for our story were a tad over the top.
We have new, conclusive proof.
Testable evidence of alien technology.
Tad over the top at times.
Is it possible to exceed the speed of light? The answer is yes.
The biggest discovery in human history.
Promos for our story were a tad over the top.
New evidence that has to be seen to be believed.
7 News Spotlight, Sunday on 7 and 7 Plus.
Not entirely comfortable at times with the way they sensationalize in their promos, because I thought the promos for our story were a tad over the top at times.
Yeah, that's not a tad over the top. That's lying to people. That's scamming the public to get them to click on your clickbait garbage video. And and so of course I follow up with Dr. Gary Nolan, who's supposed to do the analysis on the ball shavings and give us this conclusive proof of alien technology that they already promised us when they made the video and made all that money. Dr. Gary Nolan is a clown in a lab coat. That's what he is. He's a clown in a lab coat. I'm going to say it again. And hey, Gary Nolan, you are an intellectual weakling and a coward, because I came to him very respectfully. Notice how my attitude towards him has changed. I have no respect for him. He is a scammer and a grifter like everyone else that he's involved with, like Ross Coulthart, like Stephen Greer. I went to him very respectfully. And by the way, at the point I went to him originally, I had never made any public statement about him, good or bad. Never. And I asked him some very reasonable questions, like, when is the analysis going to be done? And you guys already promised that it's alien, and he got real pissed off. and refused to answer any questions. Then he blocked me on Twitter because he's an intellectual coward and a weakling. And we should do an entire show about these delusional fairy tale hucksters and how they live in a delusional bubble. They have to block people that are trying to, bring them back to reality. But Gary Nolan, boy, he got real pissed off at a podcast. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank Stephen Greenstreet, because in that promo of Ross Coulthard, you might have noticed Gonzo with the balloons flying through. I didn't add that. There was two versions of the promo. One was the regular one, and one was the one Stephen Greenstreet did with Gonzo from the Muppets flying through, and I borrowed his. Check out the Basement Office. And by the way, what a 180 he did. He used to be right on the side of all this, believer side, and he has turned into an ardent skeptic, really. But Gary Nolan got so pissed off and upset at people demanding that he show some evidence, since they already promised it. And he said this is the greatest discovery in human history in the promos, and they didn't have shit. Not only did they not have conclusive proof of alien technology, they didn't have shit. Nothing. And to this day, we've been waiting for months, Gary Nolan. He has yet to complete the analysis. And by the way, I'm not a physicist, but I know some, and they all told me it would take about 20 minutes to do that analysis. You put it into a mass spectrometer, the metal samples into a mass spectrometer capable of showing you isotopic ratios of the material that you're analyzing, and it shoots out a report. He could have this done any day. He could do it in 20 minutes. There's machines at Stanford, right? There's many, many machines at Stanford that are capable of this analysis. He's a tenured Stanford professor. He should be able to walk into a lab in Stanford and get this done for us in 20 minutes, but he hasn't. Why hasn't he? Because he knows it's bullshit. That's why. Because he knows that they defrauded the public. Him and Ross Coulthard. They perpetrated a fraud. They promised conclusive proof of alien technology, and they didn't have any proof. Not only did they not have conclusive, but they had no proof. But here's Gary Nolan getting a little bit upset. And by the way, I was told that this is directed at me. And check out Cosmic Judas on Twitter, because he did the clown face. I didn't do it, but it's wonderful.
They come to me with some of their results, and I basically said these results are shit. So I'm sorry to the people who are so friggin' impatient that they won't get off their butt and go learn this stuff and do it themselves. I'm not your daddy. I'm not here to do things for you. I'm sorry. Get out of your basement and go do something. I've seen some of those snap your fingers reports, and they're garbage. Publish the darn paper. Stop claiming that. This is shoddy work. This can't go anywhere. Who did this? It's crap.
Dr. Gary Nolan ain't playing around. He's pissed. Get out of your basements, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. Welcome, Terry is here from Not My Rabbit Hole, I think I saw, and Solar Marshall is here. I haven't seen Solar Marshall in a while. Where did you disappear to? I thought the Men in Black got Solar Marshall. I thought they got him. I haven't seen him around in a while. I figured he got busy working. He does that, right? But good to see you here. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so there was another just bumper that I forgot to play when I was talking about Linda Moulton Howe. So here's one of her fake alien picture scams. And by the way, she has yet to apologize for this fake alien picture scam. Doubled and tripled down, brought in a remote viewer, tried to say there's some kind of cover-up and, the Men in Black and all this garbage. And this is a side-by-side comparison of, the original artist showed us the artwork in progress to show us that he faked it and how he faked it. And so we did a side-by-side between that and the picture that Linda Moulton Howe shared, claiming it was a picture of a, quote, genuine orange gray alien. I don't know how an alien's orange and gray, but she claimed that the gray that you see of the aliens is an exosuit and they're really orange underneath. And this is a real picture of one without its exosuit on. It was all fake. And by the way, she made tens of thousands of dollars pushing that scam. The videos are still monetized on YouTube. She should be ashamed of herself. And I don't care if she's an old lady, right? If my grandmom was out there scamming people, I would be ashamed of her too. Linda Moulton Howe is a scammer. All right. It's pretty clear. That's a fake photo of an alien. And she scammed the public. She scammed YouTube. She should lose her YouTube for that. It's against YouTube to use deceptive practices to get people to click on a video. Her saying, quote, genuine picture of an alien in her video title is deceptive practices. She should lose her whole YouTube channel. And, you know, once in a while I get emails, people, oh, she's an old lady. I don't care. She's an old scammer. That's what she is. And she's been doing this for many, many years. It's not like she suddenly got old and started becoming a scammer. She's been a scammer since she started. Some people would argue that her original work on this A Strange Harvest was very good. I used to think that until I dug a little deeper into that and found out what kind of vetting she was doing to her so-called witnesses to the event. She was coaching people in that documentary. And that was way back in the, late 70s, early 80s, right? All right. Mark Torada says, you're so mean, Steven. You made Gary's cry and eyeliner run down his face. He doesn't wear eyeliner. Gary wears mascara. I always have to, I don't know why. I mean, I know he's a gay man, but just because you're a gay man, I know a lot of gay guys. They don't wear makeup, all of them. But Gary Nolan, maybe he wants to look at his prettiest or his best. So when he's not helping UFO and alien scammers, he's doing interviews, and in a lot of his interviews, you could see it. He wears very heavy mascara on his eyelashes. Maybe he wants to have big, beautiful lashes like Kim Kardashian. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Lou Reviews is here. Oh, God, I almost forgot. Lou, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to talk about, we put you in the thumbnail tonight. I'm going to talk about the ridiculous. Oh, man, we were talking about delusion bubbles and how many of these people live in a delusional little bubble. And that is the perfect segue to talk about what happened to Lou Reviews. It's just LU Reviews. Check him out on YouTube. He got a 2-week Twitter ban. He's banned on Twitter for 2 weeks. And wait till you see what his sin was and how he got banned. He has a video on YouTube, and it's titled "A Journalist," and he put "journalist" in quotes. Got me suspended from Twitter. So he get past the ads. Second. All right, we're gonna talk about this, especially while he's here, because this shit is funny. So Liberation Times, man. And by the way, we'll get into Liberation Times and what garbage peddlers they are. Yeah. So Liberation Times didn't like what he posted on their Twitter thread, and suddenly he got suspended on Twitter for 2 weeks. How is that even possible? Like, I don't understand how that happened. I can never find the close-up camera. There we go. I got to make this system easier for us. All right, so we're going to put up our fair use banner, but I don't think he's going to mind us. I will, you know what? I'll do it right now before I forget. Lou, I always forget. I always say I'm going to put, I'll put that video we're sharing in the description of the video, and then I forget. The show ends. I never do it. So I'm going to do it right now so that I could be a man of my words, right? It's important to be a man of your word. I'm trying to do that. I'm going to just put video shared from Lou Reviews here. All right. And there it is. It's in the description of the video. We are going to cite fair use. We'll put our fair use banner up. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Great attendance tonight, and old friends and new. I saw some old friends returning, which I'm always happy to see. Some of you that I haven't seen for a while, and then you pop up. It makes me happy to see. I'm glad. All right, a journalist got me suspended from Twitter, and I love you put journalist in quotes. A journalist got him suspended on Twitter. Let's get into this. It's a short video. Well, 15 minutes, but I got a pretty long intro there. Here he comes. This shows the absolute ridiculousness of some of these true believers.
Hello, a very good morning, good day, good afternoon, and aloha. Welcome to a very unplanned, very short episode of Lou Reviews. I was actually about to go to bed. Turn this off. There we go.
He's got
about to go to bed. And as I'm literally shutting down my windows, I see that my Twitter account was suspended for 14 days. And I said, what did I do now? What cult member is attacking me now? Because they can never attack you with their intelligence.
He's right about that.
Their evidence. They have to just report you for bullshit things.
Yep.
E. Baker, what's shaking? Welcome. Please share this on Twitter. I beg you. So I'm gonna share my screen here and show you what I got suspended for. Because it's
I just want to say that some of these true believers are absolutely ridiculous, right? And he's right. They will not engage with facts and evidence. Like if you go and burst the bubble, there's somebody on Twitter right now who is saying that Bob Lazar's story is true because it's very similar to Billy Meyer's story. And Wendell Stevens said Billy Meyer's story is true. And I sent him the link to the book. There's a book on Amazon. Wendell Stevens was a slime ball child molester. Like, that's not a good, his argument was, well, Wendell Stevens was an Air Force colonel, and he said the Billy Meyer story was true, so it must be real. He was a child molester. He's arguing with me. It was a cover-up.
Absolutely amazing. And just goes to show how weak and just petty these guys are. It's absolutely wild. Just because they don't agree with my UFO takes anymore, and I'm not their friend anymore because I call them out on their grifts and their fake activism. Because they don't do anything. They just talk. They write little blogs. And so I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm making a video. I wanted I was like, this is so ridiculous. And
this is absolutely ridiculous.
It's a perfect example of why you shouldn't trust the Liberation Times. Why you shouldn't trust anything.
And by the way, Lou didn't touch on this, and Lou's in the live chat. I just wanted to say this because this is very important. Lou has a lot of Twitter followers, right? Thousands of Twitter followers. And so for those unaware how promoting your work works, like, in other words, when I make a new video, the first thing I do is tweet it out with hashtags and try to get it out to as many people as possible. It's how I promote my work. This is work, believe it or not. I just got this funny interaction with it. Well, that's a whole other story. Never mind. But it's enough to say this, that the suspension of Lou's Twitter account for 2 weeks, if he's like most content creators I know who use Twitter to promote his work, he's going to take a hit in his wallet for the next 2 weeks because he can't tweet or promote any of the YouTube videos or the content he creates. And by the way, I have, I don't know if he has more or I have more. I don't really care about followers well, I care for the promotion sense, but I just want to offer to Lou that for the next 2 weeks, I will tweet out anything he wants me to do. He can just email me the links and I'll tweet them out for him. This is, besides being a move of an intellectual coward and a weakling, liberation times, right? What about freedom of speech? Liberation, right? It's gonna affect his pocket, and I don't think that's fair. If you took out my Twitter for 2 weeks, my views would go to shit. They would be half, probably, of what they usually are, because I have an inability to communicate with my followers to tell them I have a new video that you can watch. This is absolutely ridiculous that this clown, so-called journalist, did this to this man. And I just want to offer, and by the way, I think what we should do is that everybody should email Lou. His email is in, I'm sure there's an email on his channel, Lou Reviews, just LU Reviews. Look him up. Email him if you have a Twitter account with a significant amount of followers. Now, if you have 5 followers, 20 followers, don't bother him. But if you have thousands, bother him and let him know that you will tweet out for the next 2 weeks any new videos that he makes so that he doesn't take a hit in the pocket. And I'm offering to do that for him as well.
Or anyone connected or anyone who pushes that publication whatsoever. Yeah.
That I'm gonna show is a rag. It is a rag. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I should have taken a adless copy of this before I did this. I apologize. All right, we got it. 1 second. Right back.
So this is something that Jeremy Corbell posted a couple days ago on the 18th of February. Let me can't really zoom it in because I don't have a trackpad and I don't know how to do it without one. And I'll read it for you.
He doesn't know how to make it
if
bigger.
You can't,
it's no big deal. Oh wait, let me
actually, here's what I'll do.
There you go.
So that way you guys can see it, still hear me. So Jeremy Corbell wrote, "Shots fired in this article. Pay the fuck attention. Names named. Mission outlined.
You're right, Mark.
Information." To which I replied, because there was all sorts of replies coming for this tweet. To which I replied with,
"Thank you. I think it's the least I could do to help him." So
that's it.
No tweet a photo of the guy.
Nothing. And I got a Twitter violation for posting this photo 3 days after I posted it. And it's a public photo. I got the violation for sharing a private image. This is a public photo. I cropped it from Twitter. It was
so this clown who all Lou did is reply and show a picture of the Liberation Times journalist, which is a picture that's on his public profile on Twitter. How can he claim that's private information or a private picture? That's absolutely ridiculous for him to do that. What a weasel. That dude's a weasel.
And I'll prove it to you right now, because when I revert it to the original, there it is right there. This was a Twitter appreciation post. I can't remember who the fuck did it. I don't really care. I just found Christopher Sharp's face hilarious in this image. And so when I go to mock his work, this is the image I use. He's a public figure.
Yeah, and that's another issue. How is it private if he's a public figure? So anything on Google on a public figure, as far as images goes, is public. It's public information. This isn't private information. He lied to Twitter.
He's a journalist, according to him.
He's a journalist. Yeah, that thing he runs is a. But for those that don't know, Liberation Times is essentially a rag, and what they do is he just repeats stories from scammers and all the true believer idiots that have no evidence or proof. So all he does is repeat their talking points in articles. In other words, Gary Nolan says something on an interview, he writes an article about it. Jeremy Corbell says something, he writes an article. Hal Puthoff and some of these other people, he writes an article. Ross Coulthard, he writes an article. all of the people pushing disclosure and aliens are here and all this nonsense, he just repeats their talking points. That's not a journalist. That's a garbage peddler.
So why are you knocking down Twitter accounts for sharing a photo of you?
Because he's a weasel.
It's like, this is straight out of the playbook of Sean Cahill. If you can't beat them, do everything in your power to try and delete their account. You can't intellectually argue them. You can't prove any of your facts. Every single article that has been put out by the Liberation Times has been awful.
Yeah, and a lot of them is wrong, and he never prints a retraction.
I mean, obviously, this is Stephen Greenstreet's reply, right, to Jeremy Corbell's bullshit. Mark Greenberg's reply.
UFO Twitter is nutty. It's really crazy. If you just want to argue with people for 10 hours a day, go on UFO Twitter.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I agree. M. Stone says it'll keep until they start punishing people.
There's my violation right
there. It will
there.
absolutely continue.
It's so stupid.
It is stupid.
Let me see if I can find the. We talked about. I can't remember who the hell.
You're right. He makes absolutely false statements.
So many.
And then he doesn't correct them.
People making fun of this article and calling out Jeremy Corbell and how unreliable he is. Other journalists. And so to take this guy as any sort of journalist, either one of these guys as any sort of credible source of information is absurd. Absolutely absurd.
They're as credible as crackhead with a gas
just
can.
goes to show you, like, these guys have nothing. They have nothing other than stories, speculation, and hearsay.
It's disclosure anecdotes. Disclosure is anecdotes and stories.
They make up
that's all disclosure
Twitter
is.
violations so they can silence you for 14 days.
I agree. Twitter is a cesspool sometimes. Look at this. This is ridiculous.
I mean, there you go. There's the Liberation Times for you.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Let's see what you guys think. Yeah, I mean, WTF or B.
Yeah, and just to be clear, again, this is why it bothers me, because this Liberation Times weasel should not have the capability to cut Lou's income in half for the next 2 weeks. And effectively, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, because I really do. I absolutely rely on Twitter to promote my work. And everybody goes to Twitter to see if I put out a new video, to see if I put out a new live show, a new audio podcast. That's where everybody goes to find my work. And by the way, I'm terrible at promoting myself. I should mention we have a website now where you can find everything that I put out. It's all on the website. Audio podcasts, new videos, live videos, everything's there on the website. It's truthseekershow.com. But the reality is more people go to Twitter. I can show you my website statistics as far as visitors. I get more Twitter profile views than I do website views. Of course, the website is new, but the major problem that I have with this is, why should this clown be allowed to lie to Twitter and cut this man's income and views in half? Remember, we're all living, especially if you're a content creator, it's an attention-based economy. If you take away his ability to communicate with his Twitter followers, which are significant, I think he has like 5,000 or 10,000 Twitter followers, then you're hitting him in his pocketbook, in his wallet. What gives you that right? It's not a private image. You're a public figure, you weasel. Oh, this weasel. But there is some good news that's going to come out of all this. I'm going to start reading and reviewing every Liberation Times article going forward, and we are going to roast this clown.
Baker, Gregory the O says hello from the Netherlands. Hello, Gregory. But I bet the haters got your notification bell on. I bet their ass they do.
Yeah, that's
Red Panda
true.
send you positive vibes. Dude, thanks for the positive vibes. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're right. This is ridiculous.
It's Hillary Clinton, Jeremy Corbell, every single senator and shill that has spoken about this on some big appreciation post. and I took a screenshot of it, and I don't know who posted this, but it was like
I do. It's not fair. I don't like that.
Stand for UAP Truth, or
I do not
whoever,
like it.
I don't know, one of these many maniacs that is online. Who the F blew up Nord Stream 1 and 2?
You know, he just takes comments from here, so that's the majority of the story. And like I said, or Steve Long says, I love how mad Steven gets about injustice. Listen, just stamping on his free speech is enough to piss me off. I'm a free speech guy. I've always been, always will be. You know, that's enough to piss me off, Steve Long. But when I think about it from the perspective, I didn't think right away. It took me a few minutes to realize, like, oh, that jerk off clown weasel from Liberation Times just cut this man's income in half for the next 2 weeks, unless Twitter, you know, does the right thing. Hopefully they will. But he should not have the right to affect somebody's wallet for 2 weeks for sharing a public image. This is ridiculous. That guy is a weasel. And in fact, this is what I think everybody should go on Twitter and tweet weasel pictures at him. You can tweet a weasel GIF at him. Just use the GIF thing and put in weasel. Tweet weasel at him. He is a weasel, that guy. I don't like weasels. That dude is a weasel. So this is the ridiculous world that we live in, that the true believers are so upset, right, that they have to lie to Twitter to get somebody's account suspended for sharing private information when it's a public image that has been all over Twitter for the last year, right? It's a public image. It's not private information. And why should this man get to affect his income or his ability to promote his work for the next 2 weeks? It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm making the offer. I'm hoping there's other people with large Twitter followings that will make the offer to Lou as well. Let's tweet out his videos for him for the next couple of weeks, just in case the Twitter suspension or ban does not go away. I don't know. I've been very lucky on Twitter. I think only one time they said you have to delete something, or, you know, something I said was offensive to somebody. I don't know. And I had to delete a tweet before they would let me log in. And to be honest, I caved. I didn't think what I said was wrong, but I caved because I need Twitter to promote my work, my show. And I can show you, like, let's say I have a busy day, right? And a hectic day. And I never forget, but there have been a few times where we were running a deadline for a story, right? And we were working right up till 9 p.m. on the show that we were running that night. And I forgot to tweet the show, half the live viewers, half. So this is certainly has a capability of affecting Lou's income potential for the next 2 weeks. It's not just that he stepped all over his dick, right? You can't post a picture of me. I'll step on your dick. I'm a weasel, right? It's not just that. It's that he's affecting his income. So I think a proper remedy would be, and by the way, I'm tweeting out that. I am tweeting that out. That video will be the first time that I tweet Lou's work. So the video is in the description of the video. If you have a Twitter account, tweet that out and at the weasel. Find the weasel from Liberation Times and at him when you tweet it. Then you should tweet him a picture of a weasel and let him know what you think of what he just did as being a weasel move. Thank you, Arden Paranormal, for a kind and generous $5 Canadian super chat. No message, but we thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. Thank you. And praise the cash. Thank you very much.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
So I think that will conclude our presentation for tonight. I'm glad that Lou showed up in the live chat because I almost forgot to talk about that. And I hate when we do that. It's on the thumbnail. It says like N Lou, Lou, something about N Lou 2 or, So I hate it if I put something on the thumbnail and then we forget to talk about it. Yeah, it's Lou Jimenez from Unidentified Celebrity Review. And the description of this video has a link to his video, so you can find his email or his information. It's Lou Reviews on Twitter, and I will put. Hold on, I'm gonna get his channel. I am going to put his channel in the live chat, and I will pin it. So if you want to go to his channel, hit that video. Watch some of his videos and support him because he's getting banned. He's getting like persecuted by a clown, a weasel. I am going to put that link in the description of the video. It is pinned at the top, so if you need it, it is there. Go and support his channel. Don't let this Liberation Times weasel who runs a rag. You run a garbage rag, you idiot. Liberate my asshole. How about that? Right? Stupid. So stupid. What a weasel. What a weasel. You show me on the internet where Lou hurt you. Show me on this dial where Lou hurt you on Twitter. You weasel. Such a weasel. Such a weasel. The Tweet Weasel Brigade. That's right, Maria Rose. We're tweeting weasels at that guy, right? Watch, he'll turn that into something, right? He'll say we're harassing him or something. And by the way, I just mean to do that in a trolling, funny sort of way. I don't, no, but I did try to be one very bad. Steven's a friggin' rock star. I spent 20 years in the music business. I was a starving artist for a long time. And then one day I woke up and decided I really like eating. So I moved on to other things. But I still write songs and make music. And in fact, I'm going to have my first ever album with my name on it, Stephen Cambion. Always sort of hid behind band names and stuff, but this will be the first album with just my name on it. It's kind of like I'm turning into Ozzy Osbourne after leaving Black Sabbath. It's awesome. It'll be the first album with just Stephen Cambion on the front of it. I'm excited about it. Still don't have artwork, so that's what we're waiting on. I need artwork for the album cover. And even though nobody buys CDs anymore, the album cover is important from a marketing perspective. So I can tell you I've been through 25 album covers that I didn't want to use. Still trying to find the perfect one. Dan Huber says, congratulations. Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. It'll also be my first album on iTunes. Previously, I refused to put my music on iTunes because of their, child slave labor and all the other things that I think that Apple does that is terrible for humanity. But I caved, right? I don't know. And also, they sort of got forced to really try to do better on the, slave labor stuff. They really have made some improvements there. So, I decided it was okay to cave, or maybe that was just me justifying my lack of moral fortitude, right? Like, yeah. Unfortunately, if you want to sell music today, you gotta be on iTunes. That's the way to sell music today. And speaking of selling things, I'm terrible at promoting myself. So we want to remind all of you that we are a viewer-supported show. And we want to thank all you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you channel members. By the way, we'll have some Patreon and members-only video uploaded this week. You get some extra goodies. Here's Ian to let you know how you can support the show.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truthseekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Thanks for being here. This is Truthseekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like, and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truthseekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truthseekers. Truthseekers.
Praise the cash. Just want to do a quick tutorial on how to set up Amazon Prime to Twitch. So if you want to help out Truthseekers show and Steven, I want to put together a quick tutorial. Now, I'm not an expert on this, so I was just playing around. This is how I did it. So you may find a different way to do it, but if you're not sure, I'm going to walk through what I did. First, right here in Prime Loot. Now, this is on a PC and not Apple. May be different, but at least you're going to see what I'm doing on my laptop. You're going to see Prime Loot up here. Click that on. And here you're going to have in the purple box to activate your free trial. And it's free. So you just go through that. It'll take you to Prime Gaming. From here, you'll see how to activate your Prime Gaming. I don't think this is necessary to get your free subscription to Twitch from Amazon Prime. I just went and did it because I wasn't sure and I was playing around. So if you're not sure if you want to do this, just skip it and go to the next step. Then over, if you do your drop down on your Amazon account, you're going to have this here to say link Twitch account. So I'm going to click that. And all this is going to do, it's going to link your Amazon account with your Twitch account. So you click link down there in that little button. And it's going to have what is your Twitch name and then your name on your Amazon account. And I'm going to have my name blurred out just so everybody's not seeing it. I'm going to click confirm, and it's going to go through the processes. Now my Amazon account is linked to my Twitch account. I go back to Twitch, and I'm on the Truthseekers show, and right here you got Steven's face there. Just come down here to subscribe, click that, and it's going to bring you all the way down here. Now you can subscribe for $4.99. This is very similar to the YouTube membership, where you can become a member on the YouTube side or watch it for free. Here you can subscribe to his channel and pay $4.99 a month, or you can come up here and click this little box, say use Prime sub. Now it's free. Now I get 1 month. Now the thing is every month I have to go out there and resubscribe. Hopefully they're going to send me an email to remind me to do that. Then I can go out there and I can click this every month, and Steve's going to get some money from Amazon. We do not pay for that. This is part of my Amazon Prime subscription. That this is just one of the services, and I didn't realize it, but Amazon bought Twitch. That's the reason they're putting these two together. So I'm going to do click the subscribe button. Now I am subscribed. I got a founder badge and I got some different stuff, and close. And now I am subscribed. I did not pay anything. However, Steven gets some money to help producing the top quality programming that he's been doing. So go out there and praise the cash and sign up for Twitch subscription, especially if you got Prime. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps Steven out. Thanks.
Yeah, when we love all you Twitch subscribers, it really does help. And I love that option to support the show because it costs nothing. And in fact, I have Amazon Prime. I decided to give my Amazon Prime subscription to a Twitch creator that I like every month because it's free money. It's free money. It costs me nothing to support that creator. It would cost you nothing to support us here as creators. So we want to take some questions and comments from the live chat. Gabber Beast TV is here and says, Steve, spam the Liberation Guy's Twitter so we can see what icon he has, so we can spam weasel pictures. I don't know. I'll look. I see that guy sometimes when people retweet him that I follow. I hate that guy's stuff. He's a garbage peddler. All he does is repeat. Well, his Twitter is Chris UK Sharp. Here, I'm going to share my screen. Chrome tab. There we go. That's the guy's Twitter. I don't know if he has a Liberation Times specific Twitter, but yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to look for his Liberation Times posts, right? Yeah. This is where he tweets his Liberation Times garbage. An interagency effort has potential to cut through lack of cooperation from entities such as United States Air Force and sections of IC, something previously experienced by UAPTF. Biden would have an element of control, responses, right? Okay. Garbage. He's a garbage peddler, this guy. He's and a weasel. How dare he try to affect somebody's income by removing their ability to promote their work for 2 full weeks. Lou could take a 50% cut in pay for the next 2 weeks. I know I would. If I couldn't tweet my shows, my views and my live viewership would be half of when you tweet the material out. Other people may have a different ratio, but that's essentially mine. So this clown, this weasel, has the ability to affect his income for the next 2 weeks. I don't think that's fair. So I've offered to tweet out any videos he produces for the next 2 weeks. I just ask him to email me the links and whatever you want me to tweet or say, and I'll tweet it out for you. You should not have negative financial consequences because he lied to Twitter, being a weasel that he is. DJ D says appeal to Elon. Yeah, we talked about that last night. Eric got his Twitter account suspended or something, and he was messaging Elon Musk like, Elon, I know you're busy trying to get to Mars and building, the future, but could you stop for a moment and help me get my Twitter? Like, that's not how it works, but I see people tweeting at Elon Musk stuff about Twitter. Maybe he does pay attention to that stuff. I wouldn't if I was him. I think he has more important things to worry about. Yeah. Yeah. So questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. We would appreciate you putting them in all capital letters. I saw Gabber Beast TV, but I did not see the Out There channel. I'm trying to get to the Out There channel's Discord server because there's a bunch of materials there that I need related to a certain goofy show host that I'm told is over in his Discord. So somebody, I told him to send me a Discord invite link on Twitter. Gabber Beast, tell him to send me that. I need to get in there, right? Oh, that's a shame. I don't worry. All my cash went away when I backstabbed Lou. Yeah, I don't think I would have been want to watch your, if I was you, want to watch that Patreon go down, right? And Lou, isn't it funny? You have different tiers. My Patreon is only $1, and when people unsubscribe, I go like, oh man, I didn't give them enough extra material for $1. I'm going to move to your model of Patreon. For those unaware, Lou has, at first when I read it, I was like, you're kidding me, right? Lou has all these Patreon tiers, like $5 a month, $1 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, $100 a month. And they all say the same thing. You get nothing. He gives you nothing. But if you want to support him supporting him creating content, you give him the money. I thought that was genius because every month I stress out, like, did I give the people on Patreon and the channel members enough extra goodies? I don't want people to think I didn't give them enough. His approach is genius. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get the same amount of nothing. Whether you give him $5 or $100 a month, you still get nothing. But he writes it in there, and it's comedic, and it's funny, and hell, that's so much better than having to worry about the extra content every month. Ask my wife, Lou. Every month, at the end of the month, I'm like frantic. Like, I can't do anything today. I got to make another video. I got to finish one more video for the members and the Patreon supporters and stuff, right? Art and Paranormal needs the Discord link again. Well, somebody, B. Baker, will put our Discord link in the live chat. I'm looking for the Discord link for, yes, I want an invite, Gabber Beast. I'm looking for the Discord invitation for the Out There channel's Discord, friend of the show. I'm making a new video. I should message Lou about that. Lou Review says it's not a big deal. Well, it is if you were, counting on that money or living off of that money. For me, the Patreon, for me, Lou, mine's only $1. And my objective with the Patreon is to just have enough Patreon money to cover the show bills. And that's worked out. And for example, I just started a website for the show. It's truthseekershow@gmail.com. And, that could get expensive. Website hosting is not cheap, but I got a special deal for paying for a year in advance. So I have the Patreon money and I paid for a year. We have the website for a year. It's paid for. For the next year, we'll have a website for the show. They give you a discount if it's like, it's a significant discount if you don't pay by the month and instead give them the whole year. So I did that. The StreamYard's $50 a month. The Spreaker's $20 a month. Like, it's not free to produce a show, so it's nice to have that extra income, right? I just sent Chris Sharp a picture of a weasel, and I'm pretty sure it was taking a dump. You know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that here as well. No, I gotta find it again. Liberation Times Twitter. It's at Chris UK Sharp. That's his Twitter. I wrote, "You are a weasel for lying to Twitter and getting a content creator suspended for 2 weeks." And here I'm going to share my screen. What I was saying is that you could just go to GIF, and let's see, they got to have some weasels. You slimy weasel. That one's pretty good. I just wanted a regular weasel. I don't know. Which one should we use? Oh, that looks like a good weasel. Yeah, that's good. At Chris Sharp, you are a weasel for lying to Twitter and getting a content creator suspended for 2 weeks. That was a publicly available image, not private. You run a rag. You are no journalist. You are a UFO circle jerking clown. That sounds good, right? So yeah, and by the way, I'm not encouraging anybody to cyberstalk anybody, harass anybody, but I believe in free speech. And this guy stomped all over somebody's free speech for sharing a public image. So I think that we should all let at Chris UK Sharp know how we feel about that. I think he's a weasel. So that's what I'm going to send him. And there it is. Yeah, I really don't like weasels, right? Weasels. Don says shots fired. Find Pauly Shore GIF, Truthseekers. Yeah, remember he used to do that? All my friends used to do it with the weasel, right? Sad story, him. Pauly Shore was making like millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden he couldn't make a movie to save his life, right? And this guy's going to make a stink about you too now. No, we're not doing anything wrong. We're allowed to have free speech. Sharp is followed by Goofon. Well, that makes sense. Of course, right? Yeah, that's his Twitter. That's his Twitter. They used to market a product as seen on TV called the Garden Weasel. I think I remember that. My dad was big on garden gadgets. He had that, I think. Is that like, it was like a weed puller thing, right? Eisen sent him a picture of a weasel that was taking a shit. Paulie's got a podcast. So good for him. Yeah, I always enjoyed his movies. Like, they were kind of nonsensical and childish and stupid, but they were fun, right? And, when you're in high school or growing up, like, you don't want anything too heavy, right? Gabbard B says, bring the trolls. We love it. Yeah, I love it. I kind of do love it. When a troll comes in the live chat and tries to start some stuff, they get eviscerated here. Grifters and a blue feather stick together. Grift on. Yeah. Mr. Dennett thinks I'm Polish. Sure, it's complicated. Oh, man. Mark D. Truthseeker says Twitter is evil. Some people believe that. I know, right? Is there a danger of Twitter banning people for targeting, spamming a user account? I mean, I think it's free speech. If you're just going to tell him what you think of what he just did, he's supposed to be a journalist. I don't know a real journalist that doesn't support free speech like that thinks they could just stomp all over somebody's free speech and be a weasel. That is a weasel thing to do. I think it is a terrible and a weaselly thing to do, right? Why would you do something like that? Because you're a weasel. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. You would do something like that if you're a weasel, for sure. But he must be a bitter, angry little pussy of a man, right? Can I say that now, or am I going to get canceled for calling another man a pussy? He's definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I cannot get over that he thinks that is just acceptable to do that, right? He got so butthurt over a picture of him tweeted in the thread, right? A weasel clown flying a UFO. Well, yeah, I guess we got to get spooky on that. We need some graphics, right? A weasel taking a dump. Yes. Wheezing the juice. That's what it was. Weasel. I'm wheezing the juice. Yeah. Is David Wilcock still freezing in his cabin? That's bull. This guy's got a multi-million-dollar log cabin mansion, and David Wilcock is lying to everybody, telling them that he's trying to survive winter in an uninsulated cabin. Look, most log cabins are uninsulated, right? Not mine, but most. Mine uses something called cordwood masonry. So there's 2 feet thick walls, and there's insulation in the form of sawdust built inside the center of the walls. Their cordwood cabins are much, much warmer than a regular log cabin. But come on, this cabin of his is built using like huge, 3 or 4 foot long logs. That's not trying to survive in a little uninsulated cabin in the woods. He's full of it. Oh, geez. Let's take a look. Mr. Ian is doing some pictures. Did you just AI generate in my inbox? All right, we'll see this. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? We're all teaming up on this clown, the weasel. He's such a weasel. What a weasel. Like, okay. So we have some weasel images. Feel free to screen capture these and use them. Oh, wrong one. There's another weasel. Look at a flying weasel. A weasel UFO. Oh, that one looks cool. A weasel flying a UFO. That's Christopher Sharp right there. Oh, man. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Ian. Very, very kind of you. Oh, here, I'll make it big and we'll do that one more time, just in case people are trying to screen capture. This is flying weasels, flying UFOs. This one's my favorite, though. He's like sitting on a weasel. Let's do that other one a little longer. There we go. Just in case you want to screen capture these so you have weasel images to use to let the weasel know what you think of him. Weasel. What a weasel. Eisen says, if he's pulling that scam, his drug addiction must be really got him down. Holy crap. He's probably completely broke. I noticed him and Corey Goode at Contact kept mentioning cocaine that one year. Well, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's a human being. He's a child of God, child of goddess. I have a special kind of empathy for people who have drug or addiction problems. You guys know I struggle with alcohol problems myself, but I've been doing very, very good with that. Almost a year now. Been very, very good. And it's been a tremendous change in my life. I will never go back to drinking all the time like I was. Never. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better show host. I'm a better man off the sauce. So for me, that's the way to be. Did you see Greer on the Sean Ryan show the other day? Hard to believe he had him on. Yeah, I've heard that. And he did zero vetting, zero evidence, zero research about him. And I'm told that Sean Ryan normally is very good. But this one, he sold out to get clicks and views, right? I guess. I ran out of heating oil because I spent all my money transitioning to Madonna. Yeah, winter is a tough time for people. I haven't talked about it, but this is interesting. Like, there is somebody living near my cabin, and they are really, really struggling. And it reminded me that, we should all be aware that some people are really struggling. It's not an easy world out there. So this people live near my cabin, and they have this trailer it's not in trailers. It's like a camping trailer. You're not supposed to live through the winter in a camping trailer, and especially not in a climate like where my cabin is, where it's just winter for 8 months out of the year or 7 months out of the year. And unfortunately, they're really struggling. They were running a generator, which means they're electric. A lot of people up there, not a lot of people, but I've noticed some people up there, their electric gets turned off in the middle of the winter because their electric bill goes from $35 a month to $800 a month, and some people don't have the money. Electric heat is very, very expensive, especially in these old cottages, old cabins, bad insulation, and whatever. So there's a few families up there that are struggling, running generators for power at night, running propane constantly, you know. So I guess it made me count my blessings, you know. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. I'm a lucky man. And some people aren't so lucky and they have to struggle through the winter, you know. It's tough. The economy is garbage right now. It's unfortunate, but all of our money is worth like what, half of what it used to be a few years ago, right? Everything's doubled in price. Yeah, if they're struggling and poor, your cabin looks beautiful. It's only time before they justify a break-in demonizing you. And no, they're not struggling that bad, and people aren't like that up there. And there's nothing in my cabin to steal. There's some old computers. Oh, that reminds me. By the way, I want to thank Ron from Cosmic Neighbors. When he visited the cabin, he brought me an old big monster of a server, Mr. Ian. And I was too busy to try to get it going and deal with it. So I did last week, but then I realized that I needed some parts because it only had a 500 gig hard drive and it had no video. Well, it had built-in video and no sound and no Wi-Fi. So I was like, damn, now I need parts, but I'm going to get that going. I'm going to get it going this week. I got a stack of hard drives to put in it. Mr. Ian, it has 12 SATA ports because it's a server. So I could just fill that thing with hard drives, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got 4 hard drives, I think, to put in it, and an SSD drive. And it's already got 1 hard drive in it. So when I get done, it should have 6 hard drives. And I'm going to use that thing for video editing at the cabin. The stuff that I have there was like a 10-year-old iMac, which was an abomination because it was a 10-year-old iMac with Windows 7 on it. And Linux. But still, it was too old to do any meaningful video editing work on it, right? Generator's expensive to run. Yeah, especially with gas, $4 or $5 a gallon. You know, there are other people at the cabin. There was a guy there who was a retired military, a veteran, and he didn't have money for electric, and his electric got shut off. So him, I helped with firewood. He had a wood burning, you know, furnace that he could use while his electric was shut off. So I went over and helped him chop a whole lot of wood, a month or two's worth of firewood, because he's a little older and unable to do it himself. You know, people are struggling. People are struggling all over this country, in the inner city, you know, out in the woods, trying to survive. Everybody's just trying to survive, trying to live, right? Patty says Wilcock is wealthy. Well, his family is, right? Do you have running water or a creek? We have a dry cabin. I have water tanks there. We don't have a well, and there's no, well, there's a creek nearby, but it's a couple miles, Mr. Ian. So, but there is a community well. And a lot of people, when I say that, they're like, a what? There is a well where everybody got together and paid to dig one well, because a well up in the mountains is very, very expensive because of the granite. You're up in the mountains. It's all rocks and stone. So, you know, if you go digging, you're going to hit a big boulder that could be 20 feet thick. So they blow through drills like crazy trying to drill wells. So years ago, I'm told, and this is before I bought land there, the community got together and decided that what they would do is everybody pitch in and drill one big well. And then there's a pump house, a little shed that pumps the well. And so you can go there and fill whatever you want, you know, gallon jugs. I have 5-gallon jugs and 12-gallon barrels. And I take that back to my cabin and fill our water tank. But I'm hoping pardon me, I'm hoping that someday I'll have the $10,000 or $15,000 to build a well on the cabin land, and then we won't have to fill tanks and containers anymore, but I'm okay with it. And I have a neighbor, he's my best friend, Matt, who lives right across from my cabin. He lives there full time, and he has like a whole, we always joke, like he has everything over there. He's got running water, a real shower. He's got a house, but he's got his own well. And so he lets me go over to his spigot and fill my tank so I don't have to go all the way to the community well. And that's very helpful because I just walk across the street and fill a 5-gallon. Like for the weekend, I just go across the street and I fill the 5-gallon jug and I'm good for the weekend. If it's just me. When my kids are there, need a lot more than that. And especially my wife, right? She doesn't believe in a 5-minute or 10-minute shower. But we also, in that community, we have a bathroom with running water and showers. So during the summer, she uses that. Fantastic. People can't afford heat, but Biden has time to go to Ukraine on our President's Day and drop a bunch of money. Yeah, did you hear this? He's going to be giving the Ukrainians Social Security and all kinds of money. Good. That's great. What about all the homeless people? What about all the homeless veterans here? Right? It's ridiculous. Eisen says, I helped my dad when I was growing up drive an 80-foot well in our yard, and we hit an underground river of pure spring water. It was Southeast Indiana. Driving a well by hand is hard work. I haven't tried it yet, Eisen, but it's on my list of things to try. You can buy a well kit to do that on Amazon for a few $100s. I thought it might be worth the gamble. And if I hit water, great. If I don't, I don't. You can always try again, in a different spot. I had a well built, but the water had a nasty sulfur smell. That's very common, I hear. I don't know. My favorite water, Steve Nicholson, is the water at the cabin. And it's either my neighbor's well or the community well. It's just tastes the best. It's the best tasting water I've ever. It's mountain water. It's from mountain springs and stuff, I guess, or aquifers under the granite slabs or something. But it's delicious mountain water. That's my favorite water. I take it home sometimes and use it for drinking water here. We have okay water here, but it's not great. It doesn't taste amazing. So, yeah. Patty says, B. Baker, so true. There are suffering people all over the United States. Yeah, and he's going to foreign countries, giving our taxpayer dollars to foreigners, right? And isn't it great? He's doing all this to help the Ukrainians. What about the people in Ohio with that environmental disaster we reported on? He won't even declare that a federal emergency and get those people help. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? Gabberbeast TV is making weasel memes. Yeah, Gabberbeast, go on our Discord and send me the Discord invitation link to Paul's Discord. I really need it. I would appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. There's minerals in mountain water. That's probably why it's so good. It's probably good for you because of those minerals. Who knows? But I do know that both my neighbor and the community get the well water tested every so often, so it's safe. Yeah, somebody's just going to ask, do you test it regularly? Yeah, I think it's tested 2 or 3 times a year, right? Eisen says, yes, you get the bit and the hammer, and then you just buy pipe as needed. They come usually in 10-foot sections. It's worth it, and you get a workout. Yeah, sounds like I will. Yeah. Sounds like I definitely will. It's real gold every mouthful. New Zealand spring water from the ranges. Yeah. Pinzer is here and says, I thought the governor of Ohio refused Fed help. I don't know. I keep hearing that Biden wouldn't give them the federal emergency certification or whatever. He's got to declare it a federal emergency before he can send them federal money or federal aid. And he so far refused to do it, to the best of my knowledge and recollection. The water is very clean, but I still triple filter it. Yeah, we have a Berkey at the cabin. We have a water filter at the cabin. Problem is everyone hates what politicians are doing with our money, but it's only a soundbite. Then people just carry on. It's time for action. They work for us. We don't work for them. Well, good luck with that. Let me know how it works out. Mark D. Truthseeker. Really, the problem is classism, right? When's the last time a working man, a man who worked for a living, became a governor, a senator, or God forbid, a president? It's never happened. It's always some rich slob that never really worked for a living. family money, old money. The rich, the powerful elite rule over us peasants. That's the problem we have in this country. But, someday people are going to have enough of it, and it's going to be time to eat the rich. It's a kickback scheme, money laundering. That's why they give them money. Probably. I will come up and help you. Thank you, B. Baker. Everyone in town wanted our water because it was so good. Pure mineral. I don't know where you live, Eisen, but I would totally say, let's do it. We could do it in the summertime, right? And don't worry, it's not too hot in the summertime. A hot day at the cabin in the summer is 80, 85. Yeah, no more left versus right. It's two wings of the same bird, left or right. So, yeah. The next decade's poverty will be horrible. I agree. And Patty says, Pinzer, that's true, but people are still being poisoned. Yeah, they got to do something about it. Too late, Bellwether. Mr. A.E. Jones told his wife, pack up, we're going to Tasmania and leaving Owen behind. Okay. Yeah, more debt. More debit. I think you mean more debt. That's what I think you mean. All right, well, we're coming up on 2 hours and 40 minutes here, so I am going to bounce on out of here. We did our due diligence today. We showed up and did our very best. That's what I'm going to continue to try to do. There's some new improvements and bumpers and some other things I'm working on for the show. I'll be editing all night long tonight. We're trying my best to get some sleep because we have an extra afternoon show. We're going to do a show on that Veritas story, right? James O'Keefe getting ousted from the organization he funded. It's something else. Quite the drama-rama going on with that, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to try to do that during the afternoon tomorrow. So keep an eye on my Twitter. It's at Stephen Cambion. I'd love it if you would join me. It will probably be at 1:30 or 2 p.m. If I get up in time. I thought about doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning tonight, but I really have all this editing, right? And I really got to get through it. So we want to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors for joining us today. All you wonderful Patreon supporters, of you amazing YouTube channel members, and you wonderful Twitch subscribers. I got to remember to thank you. We want to thank you super chatters. We want to thank you super sticker purchasers, you PayPal pledgers, and all of you for your continued support of the show. Really does help the show. I am going to check in with a PayPal. Sorry, I almost forgot to do that. I always do that. I got to make a better system here. Okay, so we're all caught up on the PayPal pledges. Just so you're aware, though, we do read every single PayPal pledge. Instructions for how to help that way is in the description of the video. Just send a PayPal, add a note, and give us your chat room user ID and anything you want us to read, and we will read it for you. So that's all I got for you, friends. We'll be back tomorrow. We might be doing a double shot tomorrow night, 9 p.m. I can't wait for this. Are you guys aware of the Troubled Minds podcast? We've been trying for 2 years to do a show together, but he's always busy with his show, and I'm always busy with my show, but he's on vacation this week. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do a Troubled Minds podcast and Truthseekers team up. You want to be here for this one. It's going to be a great show. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night and God bless.
There you go.
Drum beats and guitar riffs to the World Wide Web, from one countryside to the next. It's an international love affair, and new music is our gift to the free world. Our freedom of expression is only limited by our creativity, so we stand together, and because of it, our voices are unlimited. We represent every corner of the world as we broadcast our message to every country, state, city, and town. Our supporters have expressed tremendous gratitude for taking the high road and giving them free music again to the world.